setting up. It's almost like calculated,
Feels like a setup.
Exactly.
100% agree.
It feels like a setup. So the sentiment can be what it is. PulseChain, people can feel how they want to feel about that and stuff. But I don't get, I don't know.
Well, we always have to look
feels
back
like the worst behind us.
100%. And like, we always have to look, well, I mean, how could you not say that? Bitcoin's up double from where it was on the lows, you know? And like we always have to pay homage to Bitcoin. Like, that's what drives this whole entire market, you know? So as of today, like it's reminding me a lot of the price action of 2020 when we had DeFi summer, and sometime between August, September, at 10.5K flipped as support after a big dump from 12K. And like this action that we're getting on it right now just reminds me so much of that. And like the fact that good news isn't pumping price, but bad news isn't dumping price necessarily. On Bitcoin side of things, like, and it's kind of like the quiet before the storm, right? I think that there's going to be a huge surge of price action because, you know, in the face of the stock market getting slammed, like, and just the pressures from the macro environment, crypto's holding up. Like maybe not the most illiquid altcoins, but like the Bitcoin market is holding up really well, and it's already proven itself as an inflation hedge. And so now I think we're gearing up for like wave 2 of the bull market cycle going into next year. So of course you got the ETF news too that piles on, right, as bullish ammunition.
Yeah, you know, I'm very conservative when I talk about things too. You know, of course, no financial advice on this channel at all. I've never felt in the last couple of months as good as the market has felt, even when prices have been going down, even when things have went sideways, even when the bad news just seemed to never go away. It has felt better. It has had this feeling of, and maybe that's the confidence too. You know, we talked about it a little bit before. It's like, maybe it's just, you know, I've seen these things before. I know how the ecosystem works. You know, unshakable edge. Maybe it's that too, but it plays into these real world factors lining up, and a lot of which we'll talk about today. But just everything seems calculated into, hey, not only are we going to get a bull run, I don't know when it's going to happen, but it certainly seems like people want to make money, and that's very exciting.
Yeah, I don't know if you want to just, well, okay, to your point, yes. Okay, so we got the screen up. To your point, yes, people want to make money, and it's clear as day because I can pull up any of these tabs up here. Just pick one. Teddy bear freaking ran up like crazy. Pulse reflections. It's a tax coin. Ran up like bananas off these lows. 2,200%. Wrap Bitcoin. Amazing performance. This one I particularly like. I think Wrap Bitcoin is a huge play for the cycle. And then, like, of course, you got like the OG PLS. Like, it started to create a parabola over the last like week or so. So that was like the first bullish thing that's come out of this in a while. It's basically fractalizing what we saw back here. So if you guys remember, back in June, we started to create this long-term bottom, and then we broke structure here. Let me thicken that up so you guys can actually see it on your screen. Okay, so then we broke structure, and then we came back down to test. And normally, like, you'd see some sort of like a retest here at these levels, and then it would resume with more force. But we got the reverse. We got the SEC news, right? So, but this fractal here, where it like comes down and like rounds out, that same thing is now happening down here on like a smaller scale. So, okay, we're just breaking structure now. So the question is, okay, are we gonna make one leg lower in the grand scheme of things, or are we going to create a base? And so then, okay, so we can't really know, is it going to be news that's going to drive us potentially down or up, or what it's going to be, but we can always look back to Bitcoin for guidance. And so, like, I have these 3 fractals up, and I've had these 3 fractals up on here since, like, I actually used to have them over here. So I'll give you an example. Like, they used to be over here, and then I just shifted them, like, so that, you know, we could see where we're at in the cycle, right? Because like it was a little early because of this topping area. So I was just like moved them over. Made sense to me anyway. And now look how we're forming support. And then 2 of these 3 fractals, they bounce from this 25,000 level. Only one of them, well, I guess a couple caveats to that. So the blue one obviously breaks down. This is like the 2018 fractal. where we bottomed, and then it would have been like a clean like double bottom here. But that's not happening. So then the question remains like, okay, if if the performance support, we can get like a 20. That the red one is more like COVID dip. So if Bitcoin holds strong until like November or December, going into the new year, it doesn't have to happen on the same time frame, but your lower lows or your lows are continually rising, because as this price stays strong, more and more buyers has to come in here and be greedier and greedier to buy best prices are behind us now. The best prices were down here because and you can like cross reference this with like on exchange balances of Bitcoin, which are at record lows. Like they've been ever since here, COVID last time, on-chain balances have dropped for Bitcoin ever since here. So this whole time frame while this has been going on, Bitcoin's been being absorbed by the real TradFi, right? Because that's where we're at with this now. It's a real inflation hedge where that does 100% year over year. That's the narrative. And some years they can get 2 or 3, 400% out of it. Anything you want to add to that?
I was just thinking, do we see anything here where, are people just 2024 is what I've been thinking about a lot too. Is it just something where, okay, it's accumulating, they're looking around, seeing who else is buying. Oh, should I buy now before? Is it literally just a matter of like waiting and not being too late at this point for people who are trying to get in the market?
Yeah, that's a good way to think about it. I think, like the longer this goes on, the longer Bitcoin holds strong, the more people are going to be greedier and hungrier to buy it at these prices. Because now it's like, because most people don't look at a chart. Most people just look at a number on a screen that says 25,000 or 20,000 or 15,000, and then that's enough for them to make a decision. And so the longer that out there, they open up that screen for months and months and months and months, and it's still above 25,000. Eventually, they just, if 9 months goes by and you've waited 9 months and it's still at 25K, eventually you're just going to pull the trigger. And that's kind of what that next push is going to do. It's going to be people that are just going to say, screw it, this is a good enough price for me. And they're going to take more off the exchanges. So like the range that I'm seeing here is like, because of those psychological factors, is somewhere between 25,000 and 33,000. And that can that can play out all the way until next summer, basically. And I don't really anticipate that we need to go too much above or below. So I'm going to clean this up now since we got our range. And this is kind of what I'm thinking is like, who cares what happens, but this is your range to play with. And then there may be a part of this cycle into 2024 where we spill or we pump out and it has to come back to the median. But in both cases, it's coming back to the median. So this is our median trend here, something like this. So this price can oscillate like this because of the momentum of the market and the scarce supply of Bitcoin. So this is the kind of what I'm thinking is like general trend. Like, of course, if you want to get granular about it and kind of figure out where the best opportunities are inside of here, for Bitcoin purposes, then buying below the blue line anywhere in here is probably a better buy than waiting for it to be up in here, because in your wait you're going to actually extend your profit taking even further out into time. Good news is that if you do buy out here and price gets up here, it's usually it begins a parabolic advance, and then it'll actually get to your profit target a lot sooner, versus like if you buy here and it breaks back down to new lows, this usually extends you got to be safe for up to a year. So it's more of a game of predicting price over time being the key element here.